Today's teaching is based of literary devices figure of speech. Literature encompasses the body of written works, traditionally referring to imaginative creations in poetry and prose. This designation is reserved for those works that reflect the author's intent and are distinguished by their perceived aesthetic excellence. Part 1: Classification of figures of speech. Figure of resemblance. It is also known as the figure of relationship. It is made up of simile, metaphor, or kenning. Figures of emphasis. It is also known as a figure of an understatement. It is made up of hyperbole. Figure of sound. Fit uses alliteration, onomatopoeia. Verbal games. It is also known as gymnastics. It includes puns. Error. It is created by malapropism and is usually generated because of a blunder. Types and examples of figure of resemblance. Simile. A comparison between two different things using like or as. Example: her smile was as bright as the sun. Metaphor. A direct comparison between two unrelated subjects without using like or as. Example: time is a thief that steals our moments. Personification. Attributing human characteristics to non-human entities. Example: the wind whispered through the trees. These figures enhance language by creating vivid imagery and deeper connections between concepts. Allegory. A narrative that serves as an extended metaphor, conveying a deeper meaning. Example: George Orwell's Animal Farm, where farm animals represent different political figures. Analogy. A comparison that explains one idea or thing by comparing it to another, often for the purpose of clarification. Example: just as a sword is the weapon of a warrior, a pen is the weapon of a writer. Types of figures of emphasis. Figures of emphasis are rhetorical devices that enhance the expression of ideas and emotions in writing. They help to draw attention to certain elements, making the text more engaging and memorable. Here are some common types of figures of emphasis. Hyperbole. This is an exaggerated statement not meant to be taken literally. It emphasizes a point by overstating it, such as, "I'm so hungry I could eat a horse." Litotes. This figure uses understatement to emphasize a point by negating its opposite. For example, saying "not bad" to imply that something is actually quite good. Anaphora. This involves the repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses or sentences. For instance, "we shall not surrender." "We shall not falter." "We shall not fail." Rhetorical question. This is a question asked for effect rather than to elicit an answer, prompting the audience to think more deeply about the topic, such as, "Is this how we want to be remembered?" A synditon. This figure omits conjunctions between words or phrases, creating a sense of urgency or intensity. For example, "I came, I saw, I conquered." Epiphora. The counterpart to anaphora, epiphora repeats words or phrases at the end of successive clauses or sentences. An example would be, "I want freedom for all." "I want justice for all." "I want equality for all." Types of figures of sound. Sound figures, often referred to in the Koben text of poetry and rhetoric, are techniques that manipulate sound to enhance the meaning, emotional impact, or aesthetic quality of language. Here are some common types of sound figures. Alliteration. The repetition of initial consonant sounds in closely positioned words. This can create rhythm and make phrases more memorable. For example, "She sells seashells by the seashore." Onomatopoeia. Words that phonetically imitate the sound they describe. Examples include buzz, clang, and its sizzle. These words can create vivid imagery and engage the reader's senses. Cacophony. The opposite of euphony, cacophony involves harsh and discordant sounds. This can create a sense of chaos or tension, often used to evoke strong emotions. Examples: horn blaring and people yelling in traffic. Understanding these types of sound figures helps writers and poets craft their work more effectively, allowing them to play with the auditory qualities of language to enhance their messages and engage their audiences. Euphony. a combination of sounds that is pleasing to the ear. This often involves the use of soft consonants and smooth vowel sounds, creating a harmonious effect. Rhyme. The correspondence of sounds between words, usually at the end of lines in poetry. This can enhance the musicality of a poem, as seen in nursery rhymes and sonnets. Assonance. The repetition of vowel sounds within nearby words. This can contribute to the musicality of a piece. For instance, the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. Part 3. Types of verbal games in literature. Verbal games in literature are playful uses of language that can enhance the reading experience, add depth to the narrative, and engage readers in various ways. Here are some types of verbal games commonly found in literature. Pun and wordplay. Authors use puns to create humor or clever twists in dialogue. This type of verbal game relies on the multiple meanings of words or similar-sounding words to create a playful effect. Example: I became well read by reading The Sun. Paradox. A paradox is a statement or concept that seems contradictory or self-defeating, yet may reveal a deeper truth upon closer examination. Riddles. Incorporating riddles challenges readers to think critically and engage deeply with the text. Part 5. Types of literary error in figures of speech. Figures of speech are essential tools in literary writing, providing depth, creativity, and nuance. However, improper use of these figures can lead to literary errors that detract from the intended meaning and impact of a piece. Here are some common types of literary errors associated with figures of speech. Ambiguity. Figures of speech that are too vague or abstract can lead to misunderstandings. For instance, using an ambiguous simile like, as light as a feather, without context may leave readers puzzled about what is being compared. Clichés. Overused figures of speech can become clichés, losing their original impact and freshness. Phrases like "time will tell" or "the calm before the storm" may resonate less with readers due to their familiarity and lack of originality. Congratulations on your delightful journey into the realm of newfound wisdom. Recap page. Literature weaves a tapestry of written wonders, traditionally encompassing the enchanting realms of poetry and prose. This esteemed classification embraces works that echo the author's vision, marked by their radiant aesthetic brilliance. For more educational content, like, follow, subscribe. On TikTok at Lola Literature Tales.